Welcome to AvPlan EFB, Part 2, Customisation. Welcome back. In this webinar, we'll be looking at how to customise AvPlan, switch on and off features that you may use or may not use. We'll also be looking at weather radar overlay and how to change your map. Welcome back. Let's get started. All right, so in the top right-hand corner of the enroute page, you'll find the enroute settings. It's these settings that we will be looking at in this webinar. As you click the settings, you see a series of features that you can switch on and off. Over the years, we've added so many extra features to AvPlan EFB. Customers write to us and say, could we have this and could we have that? And we like to encourage you to do so. We're very much designed by customers who have sent in their recommendations and suggestions. And you'll see a lot of those listed here. So if you have a feature you'd like added, do contact us. What we have discovered over the years is that not everybody wants all the features all the time, so we allow you to customize them right here. Let's begin at the beginning with runway center lines. Now, runway center lines we won't see until we have a plan in, and so I will show you a couple of these features are driven by the navlog, so I will come back to a couple of these features, and runway center lines is one of them. Suffice to say, it's a 5 nautical mile runway center line around the airport that is in your plan with an interwind runway in green. We'll look at those later. Airport glide range will also say for a more advanced webinar, as it is an advanced feature and it does demand quite a lot of detail. Airspace, of course, you will want ticked on, and active airspace too, you will also want ticked on. This is active airspace here, and in order to drill down or understand what active airspace is, you merely double tap on the active airspace and that will bring you up. The airspace nearest you've double tapped, and to know more about that airspace, tap on it again. This is Richmond. It will highlight Richmond for you and bring up all the NOTAM information here in the box, which you can scroll through. So once again, if you want to know anything about any airspace, active airspace or not, double tap on it and up it pops there. A single tap makes that box go away. Back to the settings. Airports. Now, if you want to see your airports on the map, such as Richmond here, you will need to have airports switched on. If you want to see your helicopter landing sites, you'll need this one switched on if you are a helicopter pilot. And for your ALAs, like Schofield's up here, you'll need ALAs switched on. ALAs are the small unlicensed landing areas, as I pointed out here. Schofield's is one of them here. Fuel availability, this is a posthumous, sorry, it's not a posthumous, this is something that you might use when you're in flight, but might not want to have on at all times. So by popping that on, it shows you the available fuel around the country. And you can see here, it's highlighted here and here. You will get fuel prices as well. Now, these are crowdsourced, and I will be showing you how to add those in the terminal page in a future webinar. So the prices might not be 100% accurate, but they do serve as a guide, and they are color coded too, orange being more expensive than green, so on and so forth. It's a really handy feature to have if you have to make an unscheduled landing, or if you are planning a flight based on fuel prices. It allows you to decide whether to land at one airport over another. So we'll switch those off now, as they do tend to clutter up the map. Just wanted to show you those there. Obstacles, we will need to show you when you have your flight plan in, as this is linked very much to your altitude. Your VFR waypoints you'll want switched on if you're VFR, and those are these here. IFR, of course, if you're IFR, and your routes there, high and low, are available there. As a VFR pilot, I have those switched off, as once again, if you have all the features switched on, it does get terribly cluttery on the map. Your FIA airspace and your R4 boundaries you will want on too, and you'll see those marked on the map here for the airspace, and again here in green for your R4 weather boundaries. Show aircraft track is your posthumous feature. It will show the aircraft track after you've flown. I'll show you one I did earlier when we're back in over on the navlog. Annotate map allows you to draw and type on the map. By pressing annotate map, you bring up a toolkit here which allows you to toggle between pens, palettes, allows you to rewind and delete any annotations that you make. Terrain overlay also is paired with our navlog, and I will be showing you that when we get onto flight planning. Traffic is what you see here. If you have this switched on, you'll see traffic for 150 nautical miles, although you can see traffic for the whole country on our AvPlan live traffic on our website. We'll just keep it at 150 miles for you here, because that's probably all you're going to want to see while you've got your map up. Does get a little cluttery. You can turn it off, although I think it's a wonderful feature. The traffic that you're seeing here now is a combination of AvPlan EFB users and cellular equipped aircraft, ADSP equipped aircraft who are receiving a ping from a ground station. So you will get a mixture of traffic there. Of course, you can pair AvPlan with an external device, which will give you more traffic that way. And you can find out more about that on our website under AvPlan Omni. Unfortunately, you won't see Oz Runways traffic as they are unwilling to share their traffic with us. We are perfectly willing to share our traffic with them, and we are hoping that they change their mind, as we do believe that this is a safety feature that we would like to provide, showing all the aircraft in the air if we can. The cursor here, this is a crosshair, in fact, rather than a cursor, and this is one of the 3 ways you can make a user waypoint, and we'll be talking about that when we're drilling down into features in the tips and tricks webinar. Show map scale pops the scale here for you on the map, particularly useful for students, and a good time for me to tell you that our maps are what we call a mega VFR map. So in the old days when you were learning to fly, you had to buy wax and VTCs and VNCs, and what we've done is we've stitched them all together. So basically, the further out you scroll, as demonstrated here, you get the WAC, and as you go in, the VNC appears where available, and then the VTC underneath. So basically, we've piled the maps on top of each other for you, and we've stitched them together seamlessly so that you never have to change a map. You can fly all the way to Perth from Sydney without ever having to change a map there. And we'll be talking about what you do if you do want to change a map when we've finished with settings and radar and weather overlays. Let's get back here. Alrighty, you can show your position fixes here by having this ticked on. Position fixes. We also have a lot of route options, and these are particularly good for instructors and students. Your heads-up display, that's here, and we'll be talking about customization of that soon. Course pointer, you can switch this on, and this gives you time to your next feature. I'll just switch that one off. Distance rings gives you a distance ring around the aircraft. 3 nautical miles, 10 nautical miles, and 25 nautical miles. This is really useful. Obviously, this travels with the aircraft. This is really useful, helping you your awareness to your 3-mile point, your 10-mile point, etc. There, you can switch that on and off under route options. Rocket boxes I can't show you until we have a flight plan in. And these are the route annotations that you can choose. You can have your route markers, 6 minutes, you can have 10 minutes, you can have 10 nautical miles. And this one also puts on your top of climb and top of descent. So that's a quick walk through features. And I will be coming back to the en route settings when we're in the Navlog flight planning section. As I mentioned before in the previous webinar, AvPlan likes to give you as much information as we can visually, graphically, and so you can really see this demonstrated in our animated weather overlays. And we actually have a whole, if you're a premium subscriber, we have a whole bunch of different overlays you can have, and if you're a regular VFR subscriber, we still have these. So we can only run one weather radar overlay at a time when animated. Let's dial up the transparency and take a little look now. The weather radar overlay, this is your bomb radar overlay, just pinching out to see if there's any actual rain anywhere in the country. It's a beautiful day where I am in Sydney at the moment. Looks like, yeah, we don't have much rain in the country. What are the chances at the moment? When we do have rain, the bomb radar overlay is laid over the entire country as you pinch out. Here are our lightning strikes. And here, if you tap on the actual 4 minutes, will bring up a legend that will allow you to decode the weather here. Unfortunately, no rain to show you. Perhaps the infrared satellite will be more reliable. Let's pop that on. Yes, of course, here comes the cloud. There we are. Here's your cloud cover. And once again, the legend down at the bottom for your cloud cover there. And so on and so forth. We have surface pressure forecast here. Or you can have freezing level forecast. And once again, your legend down at the bottom there. Oops, beg your pardon. Or your ceilings forecast. I like this one. And tapping on your ceilings forecast will let you know the height of the cloud. After our animated weather overlays, we also have our static weather overlays. So I'm just going to turn ceiling off. Now these you can keep on, toggled on at all times. The sigmets though, sometimes they get a little, if there are a lot of sigmets, they overlay the chart a lot. Here we are, here's an airmet and here's a sigmet. By pressing on them, you can have a raw sigmet. You can also have a plain English sigmet here, which is what I have toggled on, which is really useful if you're flying with a non-pilot passenger. They can read that out to you and it doesn't sound like gobbledygook. Down here is the sigmet. You can switch those off on a heavy sigmet day if you find they're discoloring your map. Up here, METARs is what I want to talk about next. I'm just going to turn off the weather cameras so that we can see the METARs more. This is a fine example of us giving you graphical information. What we've done is we've color-coded the METARs across the country so that you can take a look at the entire country and get a visual pattern of what's happening with the weather. So the color-coded dots are green is VFR, blue is marginal VFR, red and yellow are IFR. The tail is the wind direction, and the tip of the tail there is the wind velocity. And if your METAR turns red, excuse me, that means that there's a specky. Thought I just saw one. Yes, I did. Here you are. Here's a specky up here in Longreach. And if you tap on Longreach, it will pull up the METAR there. So you can see the tip of the tail is showing a furious gust. It's looking like gusting 25 knots there. And the wind, of course, it's a northeasterly, which is what we see here in 030. So it just gives you a picture. You can build up about the weather, and you'll see that these METARs also appear in your nav log as you build your flight plan. We'll be looking at that later. You can turn those METARs off if you want to. Here, I think they're incredibly useful though, so I keep them on. Here's our lightning, and here's our ability to turn on a pilot rep and our weather cameras. Here, by ticking these on, as you can see, there are so many weather cameras now dotted over the country. Let's take a look at something up in your area here. Oh, that one's not working. If it's not working, you'll get the test card, just like you just did there. Here we are. Let's take a look at YBCG. And you can see here, you can toggle between the weather cameras here. And you can also get the airport details up by pressing details. And here's the Gold Coast there. So when you press the details button here, you can also press the METAR. That gives you the broken down METAR and in plain English. So you can, if you find the weather cameras irritating or cluttery, you can switch them off here. And next, how to change your map. Now, as I explained to you, AvPlan uses a mega VFR map, and for the purposes of most VFR flights, this is perfectly adequate. In fact, it's great. However, if you do want to change your map, you can do so right here. For instance, if you would like to take a look at the enroute low map, just press the map icon and scroll down. Lots of different maps here, including street maps, satellite maps, topo maps, planning charts, etc. If you do want to see something specific, you can change it over by tapping the icon that looks like a map. I'm going to go back to the Mega VFR map now. Excellent. And while we're on customization, I can show you our search function. Pop in, you can search for anything here. I'm going to search for a small strip near Sydney where I fly, the Oaks. So tap on the Oaks, it'll give you, the Oaks is also an inbound VFR waypoint for Camden, so you can choose between the waypoint or the runway, and it will provide a circle that will just pull you right in there. As you follow the circle in, you'll see the Oaks. You can search for anything using this icon. You can also lock your map, and you can change your brightness and allow the iPad to fade to black after a certain time. This is particularly useful if you are flying on a hot day in a bubble canopy. Nice just to fade it down. Also, if you are aware of your battery being drained, you can turn it down here and have it turn off. If you're only using AvPlan temporarily, you'll allow it to fade to black there. Before we conclude, I just want to walk through the 5 icons in the bottom left-hand corner here. The first, incredibly useful, this is center aircraft on map. It's very easy to knock the map and lose your aircraft. So if that ever happens to you, just pop that button. That will put your aircraft in the center of the map there. The second one I can't show you until we have a flight plan in, but it orientates your map. So it'll allow you to change the direction of the map relative to your flight plan. Third one is an HSI. Pops up there. You can move that around. You can make it bigger and smaller. One after that is your synthetic vision, which pops up here and then takes half the screen. You can pair this with an external device that will give you an attitude input as well. It's a lot of fun to fly with. And to turn any of these off, just tap on them again. Finally, profile view. This, of course, is relative to your flight plan too, and you will also see the airspace there as well, controlled airspace drawn over the top of the profile view. This is a handy one to have if you're flying over any significant terrain. And that concludes our second webinar, AvPlan EFB, Customization. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you on the third webinar.